So, in today's training, in today's episode, we are going to be covering the sales system that every coach and consultant needs to scale past your referral plateau. Now, referrals are part of your business strategy. Without referrals, again, that means you're not building relationships. So, we're not going to negate referral marketing. You need to build relationships, you need those power partners, but you need to have a clear sales system outside of just referrals. You can't put the weight of the world on other people's shoulders. Now, before we go over this step-by-step process here, this sales system, we just want to let everybody know we're coming down to the wire. Our Scale Your Business Using LinkedIn workshop from April 27th to May 1st is coming up right around the corner. We're almost at full capacity. We're only allowing 150 people to register. It is $29, which is just a little over $5 a day. You get an hour a day with us. It's 12 to 1 Eastern, live and recorded. You get replay access until the following Monday, but also you get a workbook where we're going to take you through some exercises, so you're actually going to have some tangible takeaways and things to put in action. So it is almost like a boot camp, but it's also a workshop we're going to be taking you through. So if you're watching on social, Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn, and you'd like to register, just type the word "me" in the comments, and we'll send you the link to grab one of the final spots. If you're listening to the podcast, super easy. The description of the episode has the links to get yourself registered before we close out all registrations. So, Nance, let's dive right in, and let's first talk about the referral plateau that a lot of people do feel before we get into the sales system.
Yeah, so we work with a lot of service professionals who have been in business for a while, right? They've generated clients, they've worked with a lot of people, sometimes big companies, sometimes just clients, that have been with them for a long periods of time. And they feel more comfortable, right? Just getting business through referrals. And that's a great way to get business, right? Like Scott said before, referrals are amazing. Whenever someone says, I trust this person and they're good peeps, that is like some of the best, right? Business that you can do because that lead is not cold. That lead is not warm. That lead is hot, 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 hot. And in fact, that's even how we've hired business coaches, in the past, right? There's so many people out there saying, yeah, I can do this and I can do that. But when someone actually comes to you and says, hey, this person's a real deal, they get amazing results. Game changer.
Mm.
Okay. So let's not negate, the power of a great referral, system. The thing is that a lot of us and a lot of people who have been in business for quite some time, those referrals start to plateau out, right? They start working with other people. They start learning about other people who do what you have. There might be different opportunities outside of what you do that they've navigated. And the thing is things with that become very unpredictable. Okay. And as a coach, a consultant, as someone who is a service professional who needs, right, consistent business. And whether you just need a few clients each year, maybe it's a retainer, that you're looking for and you just want to work with a few, or if it's someone over here who wants steady clients, right? You want to keep bringing that in each and every month. That's where we need to shift our mindset from, oh, I'm just going to wait around, or I'm going to just tap into some old people that I worked with and just squeeze them a little and see if, there's someone, that has a need to, hey, I'm going to actually build a system that's not going to be salesy, right? Because that's a big misconception, right? A lot of people think, oh, well, now if I start reaching out to people and I, start actually, growing my net worth with people who maybe I don't know, they get that mindset that, well, I don't want to be salesy, or I don't have time for this. Or, you know what, my business is more relationship based, so I don't really want to create a system around it. The thing is we've got to shift that mindset and we've got to realize that a system will actually help you create more relationships, not less. You'll be able to have more conversations. You'll be able to make more friends, right? I always say it, take the stress of pitching all the time off your shoulders and really remember that, especially when you're using LinkedIn, guys, you are not looking to pitch, pitch, pitch and be salesy. You are looking to connect, right? It is relationship building. And the other thing is it helps you create a more predictable path to trust, to sales, to getting people consistently signing up and purchasing what it is that you offer. So I don't know about you, but I think it's pretty clear that maybe the things that you've been doing for the last few years might not be working anymore, and it's time to make a shift. So if that is you, we're going to go over a 5-part sales system to help you get out of that rut, to help you break through the plateau, and to actually help you make sure that you have the right things in place to build your business in the right way. So, Scott, you want to share number one of the 5-part sales system?
Yep. So you need a clear and optimized offer. So you should be leveraging LinkedIn to have your offer out there. Now, the offer might be on a back end of something. So it really needs, so just as an example, we do workshops that lead into offers that we have. And it's very clear who our offer is for. We work with coaches, consultants, and service professionals, i.e., accountants, lawyers, finance professionals, insurance, people that provide services. So we also talk through, even with our workshops, the problems that we're solving for and the results that they can get. So if those things are unclear with even a free offer, whether it's maybe a quiz or an assessment, but your core offer, whether it's a course, whether it's a membership, whether it's a community, whether it's a mastermind, one-to-one coaching, if people have to scratch their heads when they hear about your offer, whether it's something that maybe you share when you're doing a LinkedIn Live or you talk a little bit about it in a LinkedIn newsletter, and you don't clarify who it's for, what the problem you're actually solving for with your offer, and the results that they can get, you're going to be missing opportunities there. So, really think about that core concept first before you do anything. Put yourself in the shoes of your ideal client. And if you were going to be working with yourself and you were looking at your offer, is it very clear who that offer is for, what you actually offer within what you're offering, and the results that can be received from the person that does work with you? So if there's question marks around either of those, one, two, or three, you're going to be missing the mark. So make sure first and foremost, your your offer is not just optimized, but it's very clear. So Nance, number two is websites that convert. Let's dive into that.
Yeah. So plain and simple, I get this question often, especially from people who have been in business for many years and maybe never needed a website, never had a website. And again, this whole referral based marketing, well, I never needed one. Please get a website. Okay, if you don't have one. And if you do have a website, please just do a little spring cleaning and go back through and make sure that it's very clear, right? Like Scott said, what it is that you do. And the thing is your website is basically the home base where you can really just capture all of the things that you do, right? In fact, that homepage, take people on a little journey, share with them what it is that you do, the problems that you solve, and just a clear next step of what you want them to do. One of my favorites, in fact, we talk about websites all the time. People are like, well, where am I going to build it? What am I going to do? Guys, don't overthink this. There's easy platforms like Squarespace. In fact, that's one across the board a lot of people use. An old school way, a lot of people used to use WordPress and things like that. But there's a lot of website builders that, again, you can look into. And whether you have somebody build it for you or whether you build it yourself, it's actually not as hard as you think. So please make sure that you put together a website and please make it clear what the next steps are for people to take to work with you. And even if it's as simple as book a call with me here and they can click the link and it goes to your scheduler. Again, please do not make this more complex than it needs to be, but you definitely need a website. Scott, number three.
So number three is something that I kind of alluded to in number one, and it's a lead magnet. So you need to, and this is something that we talked about in previous episodes. So if you have a checklist, if you have a guide, if you have a PDF, if you have an assessment, a quiz, that is a lead magnet. So a lead magnet is something that attracts people to give their name and email in exchange for something of value that you're offering. So if your lead magnet is not attracting potential buyers and clients, you're missing the mark. So using myself and Nancy as an example, two of our highest performing lead magnets are one, our LinkedIn profile optimization guide, because everyone's looking to optimize their LinkedIn profile. And number two are high impact post templates for LinkedIn content. And again, it's very clarified in both little landing pages for both of these guides. It's for coaches, consultants, and service professionals. The goal is quality leads, right? We want quality over quantity. You don't want just anyone, getting your guide. And that's why it's really important to clarify who it's for. Because if we have like dentists and we have general contractors, people that we can't really serve with what we do, yes, there's value for them, but it doesn't do anything for us. We can't build that relationship. So lead magnets can be shared wherever you want on LinkedIn. Your featured content section, your description in your headline section, calls to action in your LinkedIn newsletter, LinkedIn Lives, but they have to be hyper specific. They should be correlated and geared towards your specific target audience. They need to give immediate, useful, tangible tactics and tips right away. I remember Nancy and I had a client and their lead magnet was a 42-page PDF. There's not a chance, even if you're giving that thing away for free, even if you're paying people to download that thing, they're not going through it. So it should be short, sweet, and to the point, and lead naturally to whatever offer you have, whether that's getting on a call to discuss one-on-one coaching, maybe group coaching, a mastermind community, such, again, this could be an audit or an assessment, as I kind of forementioned. This could be a mini training, which I have something called the 5 layers of LinkedIn mini course. It could be a checklist. So people, it could be a checklist. Here are the 5 things that you need to make sure that every LinkedIn profile has: A, B, C, D, and E. Or it could be a low ticket workshop, much like what Nancy and I are hosting from April 27th to May 1st. It's $29. It's a very, very affordable, lower ticket price point to get people into our ecosystem where they can get immediate, tangible action each day that they spend with us. So that's number three. And number four is email sequences that convert. So, Nancy, let's dive into that.
Yeah, and here's the thing. A lot of people are like, nobody reads email anymore, or email sequences. What in the world? Email is still very, very relevant. Okay. So when we talk about email sequences, after someone downloads the free thing, signs up for the free thing, right, shares their email, whatever that looks like, if you have an email service provider, okay, there's lots of different ones out there. In fact, we're going to talk about it a little bit more in our workshop that's coming up. But you are able to put together a simple automated sequence, which allows you to introduce yourself, share the free resource, help share a little bit more about, right, the problems that your clients have, and you can kind of deepen that connection and make sure that your client knows what it is that what you do. Okay. In fact, I always remember Donald Miller. He is the writer of quite a few books: Marketing Made Simple, Building a Personal Brand, many others. He actually has a 52-week email sequence. I'm not even kidding you. And in every week, he's sharing, different value added things to nurture his ideal clients. And at the end of it, hey, if you're looking for support here, reach out. So that's one way to do it, right? Do we feel like you need 52 emails? Absolutely not. But even having a simple email sequence, and guys, this could be 3 to 5 emails, right? Where you're just sending them out. You're making sure people understand what you do. You're nurturing that connection. And then, of course, they're added to your email list, and you can send them the weekly newsletter. If you're posting really something awesome stuff on LinkedIn, like a LinkedIn article or newsletter each week, you can, make reference to that. You can share if you've been on a podcast episode, so on and so forth, and obviously have all your links right there front and center. I can't tell you how many times I've actually purchased things or programs or coaching from people that I signed up for their free thing. And the natural next step was, well, how else can I work with this person? I love their stuff. And boom, I go to search their name in my emails and it will come up, and there's easily clickable links to go right to their website and book a call. So let's make it super simple. And again, you can do this through an email list. Scott, number 5.
So the final thing is content that drives leads. We talked about this in a previous training that your content should be building know, like, and trust. It should be building relationships. So you need to make sure that your content fuels your lead gen and sales system, right? So you want people to come to you. So you want people engaging, you want people commenting, you want people resharing, you want people voting in your polls, you want people subscribing to your newsletter. And it's best if you speak to those real problems, which really puts you right alongside of them, where they feel like they're being connected with and connected to. You're building trust consistently over time because you're being seen as a value added resource, but also you're positioning yourself as that go-to person. So you have to also think about when you are creating this content, put yourself in the shoes of your ideal client. Would you be finding value in this piece of content? Is this piece of content solving a problem? Is this content giving a solution to my problem? And is this content bringing this person closer to me or pushing them further away? As we said in previous trainings and previous episodes, content right now on LinkedIn is the number one driving force in creating leads that are also leading to sales and clients acquired. So if your content is not driving inbound leads, it's not a them problem, it's a you problem. Turn the mirror around, look at your content, see if it's solving any of those problems, it's positioning you as a go-to resource, and that will also fix that non-inbound lead strategy. So again, before we log off today, your content is what's going to bring people to you, right? Your website needs to convert. So all of this actually goes together from your lead magnet to your email nurture sequences. So all of this that we covered today, we will be going into deeper context in our workshop coming up on April 27th through May 1st from 12 to 1 Eastern, live and recorded, called Scale Your Business Using LinkedIn. Again, if you're watching on social, just type the word me in the comments and we'll get you the registration link. So we're almost at capacity, 150 people max. If you're listening on the podcast, go to the description of the episode. You can grab the registration link from there. So we hope you found today's episode and today's training helpful. Love and gratitude, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye-bye.